Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. Just as a reminder, this is a special session of the board called for the purpose of the 2026 budget. In compliance with AZ statutes, no other business may be discussed. We will only be talking about this budget today. One of the first things I would like to do is I would like to introduce everybody to our new communications liaison person, Ashley Lawrence, who's running the camera today. Ashley just started this week, so please be kind. It's day 3. We would like her to stay. So, if we can, we have a quorum. We are all present this morning. If we can go ahead and review the minutes of the previous meeting of October 30th of 2024. Have a motion?
I make the motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, Max. Second. Any corrections or comments?
Yeah, I have a question. So, under the 2025 operation budget narrative, it says 200 homes to be sold. Is that correct, or was it supposed to be 150? The second bullet point.
That is correct.
The 200 was correct?
That's what, that's who we collect the $50 CC&R fee, not necessarily the preservation fee.
Okay.
I see an error in there that was just pointed out to me. Marcy's name is not March, it's Marcy.
Okay.
I usually catch that.
Thank you, Steve. I amend my motion to have that correction.
Any other corrections, comments? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Raise your hand. Okay. Thank you. That passes with Joe's abstention, as he was not a board member at the time. All right. Moving on. 2026 operating and reserve budgets. First item up is the homeowner annual letter, budget highlights, and operating budget summary.
Motion?
I move that we approve this letter to be sent to residents as submitted.
Second.
Okay. Any comments, questions, corrections?
Is the second page part of that letter?
Yeah, it's just the back side of the letter, Joe.
It is?
It'll be
Okay.
printed on the back.
We just have a typo on there on the Thursday, December 31st.
December 31st.
Administration office closes at 4 p.m.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Any other corrections? Okay. Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none? All right, that passes. Over to go to the homeowners. All right, moving on. Okay.
We're getting a lot of feedback, Sean.
Sean, getting some feedback. Am I doing something wrong?
No.
Oh, I hear it, Jen.
Just too
You
hot.
want to try to Bruce's mic for now?
You want to try Bruce? Well,
Okay. Yeah, we're getting a little feedback from mine also.
Yep, it's too hot. Well, these mics are more sensitive than the valve, you guys, so you may not need to be quite as close.
that's close. Okay.
Okay.
All right, moving on. 2026 operating budget, that's tab 2 in our binders. Bruce, if you could provide us with an overview?
You want to start with highlights? Yep. Tab 1.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Want me to do that?
Okay. Before you are the highlights for 2026. As you can see, our annual assessment is $819, an increase of $23.10.
Can we, if we're not using the microphone, maybe if we
Have them turn them off?
Yeah, just put them on standby.
Okay.
No adjustment.
Can you hear me when I
A little bit closer.
Okay, how about that? Is that, I don't want to, I hate that in my ear. Our operating budget is budgeted for 180 home sales this year, for 2026. Rec center room rental rates, we're suggesting an increase of 3%. The RV storage lot, we're suggesting a 3% increase. Our employee wages were figured at the industry average of an increase of 4%. Workers' comp has decreased, as you can see, 39.5%. Thanks to management for reining that in. That's a huge deal. Association Master Insurance Policy is up 9%. City of Peoria Water and Sewer and Westbrook Golf Club water increase is 5.5%. Arizona Public Service, 14% rate increase for 2026. Southwest Gas, we don't know what they're going to increase it. They don't tell us, and we got to assume they are, so we kind of budgeted in 5% for that. Landscape maintenance contract was increased 5% as per their contract. Preservation fee increase of 5% for 2026. It will now be at $4,655. We are budgeting 150 home sales in which we will receive that preservation fee for the reserve replacement fund. Powder coat refresh on all our entrance signs. There's a bunch of them. Expansion, adding a Lakes Fitness Center which would include fire sprinklers for that whole for the west wing there. It's a big number. We're going to do a lot of discussion about it. And then the Xeriscape project that's coming out of landscape and facilities, we're budgeting $100,000 to convert some landscaping to Xeriscape. All right. Now we can move on to our operating fund summary.
Bruce, you mind if I ask a question?
You may.
Okay, so it says under the reserve replacement, it says preservation fee. Is that the same thing as the capital preservation assessment?
Yes.
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 Okay. Have we ever asked for more than 5%?
We can't due to our CCNRs.
Okay, so I'm reading here that the capital preservation fee shall not be increased by more than 5% over the prior year without approval at least 51% of the members present in person or by proxy at a meeting of members duly called for that purpose. Have we ever done
That's
that?
correct.
We've never done that?
We have done that.
We have done it.
Yep. And it's on the board agenda next week.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So,
No. Microphone, please.
oh,
Nancy Miller,
oh, geez.
Hang on a minute.
For the budget highlights, no, because
Okay.
there's no motion to accept that. It's
Okay.
all just kind of a summary.
Let them
Yeah.
Okay.
Name, please. Your name, please.
My name?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if I can remember that. Lynette Jones, live in Fairway Springs. So my question is, when you're calculating the, figuring out the preservation fee and trying to predict what you're gonna be getting, what's the number that you budget in there for, because now that homes are being sold through a trust, or they're passed down through a trust that are not actually sold, so you don't get the replacement fee?
That's correct.
Yeah, so do we have a sense, is that 10% of the houses, is it 20%?
You can see on bullet 2, we budgeted for 150. That's 30 less than we did in the operating. So the 30 difference is what we're expecting will not pay the preservation fee.
Okay,
That's by historical data.
great, thank you.
Good question, thank you. Okay, moving on. Now, before we get going, our budget committee devoted 2 full days of their time, and I want to recognize those folks. 3 of us are up here, Steve Merkovich, Amy Miller, and our homeowners involved, well, forgive me, Karen Jones is also there, and so is Jody Snyder. Our homeowners that volunteered their time, if you'd stand, I'd appreciate it, so we recognize you, as Kurt Kimmerling, Paul Schnetsky, Jim Schultz, and Frank Macedon. And I thank you folks very much for participating in this.
I think Frank said his doctor's appointment.
Oh, just told Frank's at a doctor's appointment. All right, moving on. Westport Village Association Operating Fund Summary for 2005 through 2026. Our budget number for 2025 was $3,482,000, and it's estimated we're going to come under budget at $3,463,000, which is, again, thank you to our management keeping us close or even under budget. For 2026, our estimated budget is going to be $3,500,000 and some change. That's an increase of 6.9%. And as we tread through this, you'll get to understand how we came up with this. All right. Operating budget.
This is where we need a motion.
I'll entertain a motion to approve this operating budget.
I'll move that we accept this operating budget. Is that sufficient? You want more?
For 2026.
Okay. Well, I have a loud voice. I'll second it.
All right.
Okay, now we can open this up for conversation. I took the numbers for income revenue. Is that what we're looking at right now?
Yep.
Okay. And we're right in line with what has occurred in past, at between 88 and 89% of our total income for operating comes from our members' assessment. All the rest of these numbers amount to anywhere from 11 to 12% of it. So you can see how much we rely on our annual assessment. The biggest increases, of course, for 2020 is our annual assessment, because we were able to raise that by 2.6%. 2.9%, excuse me. That's our CPI. All right, moving on to the next page. This is our expenses page. As you can see, our big numbers are number one, landscape maintenance. Now their contract, which was a 3-year contract, as per the contract, was allowed to be raised 5%. Water's a huge deal, and you can see that number is significant. And that's why we're encouraging from landscape facilities doing some xeriscaping to cut down on our water usage. All the other numbers through here fall in line with what we've done in the past. Next page. Again, numbers again kind of fall in line. Probably our biggest increase is our insurance policy. Any questions?
Yeah, Bruce.
No.
Okay, hello. Bruce, we increased our insurance policy, did we not?
That's correct. We're at $15 million liability.
We did that last year.
That was last year, but
That was
yes.
effective in '25.
This is just generalized increase.
Okay. Next page. Again, as you can see, everything's falling pretty much in line. Any questions? All right. Moving on to next page. This is page 5.
Yep.
Again, as a budget committee, we tried to keep these pretty much in line with the years past. And we have a 2.4 increase for administrative costs. Am I going too fast for you folks? Can you kind of, any questions?
I have another question.
Certainly.
Max has one for you first.
Oh, I'm sorry, Max. Max.
On the legal fees, we have a reserve fee with the legal, I mean, not so much.
Retainer?
Retainer.
Yeah, a
We do
retainer
not-
fee.
No,
We do not have a retainer. We're strictly on hourly, if I'm
correct.
correct, yeah.
Might it be wise to get a retainer? Or would they charge us the same amount we're budgeting?
Her fees would be the same. We have inquired before. Yeah.
Okay, Max, okay. Thank you. Lynette?
You want me to say my name again?
We got you.
Only if you forgot who you were.
What's your last name? Just kidding.
You can pull the mic down if you don't mind.
It makes me stand up straight.
Okay.
Can you go back a couple pages to the insurance page?
Yep, that would be page 3, Jody. There you go.
And is tenant user liability, what's it defined as a tenant?
That's our tulip policy that's required for events, and that's a pass-through. The insurance company charges us $100. We pass that on to clubs and room rentals. That's a $100 fee. We budget $2,000 a year because we have about 20 association events that require us to pay that $100 fee as well. So the tulip that everybody knows it as is the tenant user liability insurance policy.
Okay, so tenants like renting for a party or something, not renting households that are renting.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
The 2,000 is in addition to what the various clubs pay?
Well, whatever the clubs pay, we have that same expense billed to us, so it's a pass-through. So the association has about 20 events between bingo and other events and parties and things. So we have to pay, we pay $2,000 for association events. But there's about 60 other events that they pay the tulip, and that's just there's an income and an expense line, and it's a pass-through.
So in other words, the 2,000 is in addition?
The dish, that's just association expense, correct?
And again, I'll remind you, these are just all budget numbers. They're not going to be 100% accurate, but they're darn close. All right. Page 6.
You'll see GL 6414, fire system inspection. We've talked about that in Ways and Means. That was an error in the coding for repairs versus inspections. So that 3,000 negative has had a reclassification.
That's correct.
Yep. So that's why that column is
Right.
negative.
Good point. Okay, next page, page 7. You'll notice we have an 8.4% increase in wages. Part of that is because we are now, for the first time in quite a while, fully staffed. And that's partially responsible for that number rising 8.4%.
So we budgeted a 4% pay increase, and then the other part is health insurance, and luckily our workman's comp did come down a little bit to help that number.
Any questions on this page?
I have a question.
Yes, question. Joe?
Is this one? Okay. The vacation and sick pay,
Yep.
why is it,
So much less.
yeah, so much less as you work your way over, like from 2024 over to 25, 26, just for explanation, please?
Okay, so the vacation and sick pay is a liability on our balance sheet that we owe employees that have accrued their paid time off. The auditor makes the adjustment when the audit happens. So that 24 number has been corrected when they finish the audit this year. And they will do the same thing in 26 for 25. So it's,
Shouldn't the 26 then be a bigger number?
no, because they adjust it off as it's used. So as an employee uses their PTO, it's a moving liability number. Well, it is quite a difference, but we have some longevity in our employees right now. We just had an employee that celebrated 25 years. There's people at 15 years, and they are accruing the maximum amount of PTO. So that's why that number's so high. And so the person that's 25 years, where he is required now to take 1 week a month off for 5 months this year because it stops accruing.
Yeah, that's my question. Maybe I just don't understand. I think the 2026 budget number should be larger than, right? It's only 3,300.
Did we have employees that
No.
left that got their pay? Did we have like people that left that got paid out?
Yes, if people leave and they're due PTO under policy, they get paid out as well. That's why the auditor must adjust that. We don't adjust it as we go along.
So that's a number we can't really predict then, at this point.
We kind of have an idea because of historical. After the auditor comes in and does an audit of all the payroll and the PTO with our payroll provider, they will make that adjustment, and it usually lands, Joe, right around as, we didn't have the audit done for the 24 number, so I think that's what's throwing you off. But that will be between, you know, just over $3,000 when the audit adjustment has been made for 24. This is only an accruing number that you're seeing. It's an auditor. It's an auditor number.
I struggle with this too, but I am trusting that our auditor knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And you'll see that it's a liability on our balance sheet on our financials every month.
Correct.
Does everybody understand the concept of paid time off? The employee, you owe him that money because he's accrued, he's working, but he's getting paid, but he hasn't been paid, and you have to account for it, and you're operating in your balance sheet. That's what's happening. It's a hard thing to get your head around, but it's, with this association, it's not a significant number. But if you have a couple hundred employees, it becomes very significant.
Right.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Uh-oh. Somebody's in trouble.
Okay, next page. As you'll see, our total expenses for 2025 were budgeted at $3,448,000, and it is estimated we're going to come under budget in 2025 at $3,275,000. That's just an estimate, but looks how we're trending. So our budget for 2026, total budget is $3,500,876, which is a 6.9% increase over 2025. Any questions? Boy, you guys are being nice to me. Thank you. page 9. Our net for 2020, we should have a surplus in 2026 of maybe $52,762. Comparing our operating budget to our income budget. Now, if all of you are looking at the 2025 5-month estimate showing a negative $6,530, that threw me for a loop too, but Karen educated me a little bit, and we're estimating for those 5 months that we might be over budget by that amount of $6,530, if that helps you at all.
But we're still under budget for the year.
But we are still under budget for the year. That, thank you, yes. As you can see in the 7th month for 2025 line.
Okay.
Any questions?
Does the board have any questions?
Yeah, well, I just want to point out, also shows that we're not unable to make a contribution to the reserve fund this year or next year.
The budget committee for 2026 decided not to commit to donating to the transferring to the replacement fund. Our operating expenses are getting very close to breaking even, and we felt it prudent to keep whatever extra funds we have in that operating account. So that's the reason for that. Now in 2025, we have actually rolled over funds for this year. You'll see that coming up pretty soon.
Okay. Any other questions by the board?
Does that show in these numbers?
Sorry.
When we get to the reserve fund, it will show, yes.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Yes, Dennis.
I'm misunderstanding something.
Can you, I know you don't like it.
Thank you.
Come use the mic,
Which
thanks.
is easy for me to do.
Dennis, there's a chair right there in front. That way you can just get right up. Makes it easier.
I'm Dennis Redford. I'm the local pain in the ass.
We love you, Dennis.
That is for sure.
I was told at the beginning that our income is going up 2.8%,
9%.
which is the CPI allowed. That's all
Right.
allowed.
Yeah.
Correct.
But our expenses are going up 6%,
6.8,
Yeah.
so we got a 4% deficit.
Yeah.
correct,
And it gets worse every year.
correct.
So how are we gonna fix this? What services would this audience, like this association, cut back on? Because that day is coming, and I'm just leaving it there.
Correct.
Okay, thank you for that comment.
Thanks, Dennis. Okay, any other comments? Hearing nothing, I am going to call for the vote of the board on the 2026 operating budget. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, the operating budget passes. Great.
I don't think you want to go through all the pages of the narrative, do you?
No.
Let's hit the highlights.
So we are going to jump to replacement reserve fund. I've got quite a few pages to scroll through here to get there.
Yeah, Jody, you can go about 50 pages. So that's the budget narrative that the committee and the board has with a 10-year historical data when they're reviewing everything. So every line item has that historical data.
And it's literally
Go by-
50
There you
pages
go.
long.
Yep.
Okay, there it is. All right.
Can I get a motion on the preservation account, please?
Reserve account.
Reserve account.
I make a motion. Do we have to do it during pending an audit, Karen, or not?
Nope, not the budget.
I make a
Those are
motion we
financials.
accept, where are we, replacement reserve fund budget for 2026.
I'll second.
What is the total number at the bottom?
It's $4,508,199. This is a balance through July 31st, 2025. When this was put together, we did not have data from August on, so everybody's aware. All right. As you can see, our preservation fee for 2026 will be $4,655. That is including a 5% increase as we are allowed with us under our CC&Rs. The balance December 31st, 2024 was $4,496,722. Our revenue through July of 2025 was $517,749 for a subtotal of $5,014,471. Our expenditures through July from this fund total $506,272 for a balance on July 31st of $4,508,199. Any questions on this page?
I have a question.
Sure.
For clarity for everyone, we mentioned that the preservation fee increase was voted on at some time in the past. When was that? Do you happen to know off the top of your head?
2015,
2015?
and it went up $1,003. And it passed with a 72% acceptance.
Okay, so then we've done the increases since then. to
And then
get
we've
to where
taken
we're
the
at.
5% each year thereafter.
Thank you.
Any questions on this page? Anything else? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Steve Eilander. I'm over in Heatherbrook. Have we benchmarked how our fees are compared to our partners across the street and down the way? Or are we just adding 5% as a way? I mean, what are the elements that are used in coming to the number other than the math?
So to answer that question, the board meeting, which is scheduled for next week when the agenda comes out, the LRP, Long Range Planning, is requesting that we go ahead and increase these fees to $5,500 starting in 2026. To do that, we have to take that to a vote to the community, which would go on the ballot for this coming up election year of 26 for us. if the board agrees to that increase. Pardon.
And the 5,500 is in line
It
with,
is.
well, let me ask the questions. With the average value of a home here, you know, in terms of that percentage versus the values of other places that are also paying, there's some benchmarking that's going on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We pulled the data from the competing neighborhoods around us, and that was a number that we felt comfortable with at LRP to recommend to the board based upon the numbers that are being charged to the other 55 plus communities around us.
Thank you.
And just to add, the other communities that some research has indicated range between $38,000 and $6,000. 3,800.
Yeah. For their 2025 numbers, we don't know. They'll do for 26. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, my name is Bob McKees. I'm just wondering, could that fee be based on the sale of a home rather than a flat fee to garner more revenue?
Well, interestingly enough, I've actually done that. And if we did that and did it as a percentage of the sale of the house versus what we do, we would actually not get as much money as we do just doing a flat preservation fee. The values of the houses here range anywhere from about 199,000 up to 800,000. So that's a pretty large disparity. If everybody pays equally the same number, it actually works better in our preservation account than if we were to try to do a percentage of that.
Okay, thank you.
The analysis, I believe, was done on 2024 at a 1% of the sale price.
Correct.
We looked at that, and we were told by our attorney, when we changed it in 2015, I was a proponent of tying it to the value of the house. We were told by our attorney, for some reason, you can't do that. A fixed number is established by UTC. When they originally put this.
Would you mind coming to the mic? I can't hear a word you're saying.
Well, it's probably good.
That's another question.
So what Dennis basically said is in 2015, when it was looked at, it was the advice of council that you could not do that based upon the CCNRs, was to tag a percentage to the value of the home, is what Dennis was saying.
I don't recall that, but if he does, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Jermaine Sacco, Torrey Pines. I think the guy was trying to ask, excuse me, is what other communities like Sun City West, Trilogy, other communities. We're going to 5,500. Who's 6,000? What community is 6,000?
Estancia.
Estancia? Okay.
Yeah, that's all on a graph for next week at the board meeting.
Oh, okay.
That's not being voted on here
Well,
today.
I'm just trying to say what he was trying to say.
I think they understood.
And the thing is, do we want this to bite us in the butt? I mean, it's like if you put it so high, who's going to want to come into here? They'll go to Sun City West.
Well, realistically, the number is $800 more than what we're looking to raise it to right now.
I'm just trying to get that looked out.
Thank you. Anything else?
Okay.
Okay, next page. Page 2. I guess on this page, what we're looking at are, yes ma'am.
My name is Liz. I'm a retired realtor. So as far as the preservation fee is, it is totally negotiable who pays it. Sometimes the seller may pay half and the buyer may pay half, but it is negotiable in a real estate transaction. That's just my thoughts.
Great.
25 years of real estate.
Thank you. Okay, this is where we show the contribution to our preservation fee under August to December 2025. And you'll see the annual contribution from operating account of $175,000. We did that earlier in the year this year. You'll see we're showing our interest income, or excuse me, fee income of $208,000. Our employee retention credit, $64,000, and we do invest these funds, a good majority of these funds, and we've pulled in $28,000 in interest for an additional income of $476,112. Now, as you go down the line, you'll notice these are the expenditures that we have not made yet from August through December. And these are all projects that have been scheduled by management and approved by the board. Those total expenditures will be $377,150. And the balance is expected to be in December 31st of $4,607,161. Our fully funded balance, be funded 100%, would be $552,801. If these numbers come to fruition, we will be at 83% fully funded at year end, which for me as chair of the Ways and Means Committee, I'm ecstatic with that number. That's a tremendous improvement over last year. Any questions? All righty. Moving on, next page. Our subtotal expected for 2026 would be $5,380,411. And below you will see the proposed projects to fund out of this preservation fund. There'll be an asterisk by the ones that are carrying over for 2025 because we are not going to get to all of them this year, but we'll carry them over to 2026. Any questions? Yes, Lynette?
So, if I want a copy of any of the numbers that we've been looking at, I have to come to the office and request it? Is that how it works?
Correct. You make an appointment and you come in, but you will have a summary of everything that you're looking at today in your mailbox before Thanksgiving. So you get the operating and reserve budget with your assessment letter right before Thanksgiving.
Okay, just a suggestion, because it's hard to read and it's hard for us to make, positive comments and contributions to this process when the numbers are presented so small. You can't see them or you can't hear them for a lot of us. I'm just wondering if there's some other way that the crowd could access these. Could some of it be handed out during this meeting?
No, because it's not an approved budget, so it's not something that goes out to the residents until after it's approved. So the time to come to for the questions are at the budget committee meetings, or here, and we can stop and explain them.
Right, but I'm just saying it's hard to make contributions here when you can't see the material. And if we could hand them out and then say proposed on it, it doesn't have to be the final one.
We've never done it that way before. We'd have to really look at having an unapproved budget out in the community. Yes, you can put proposed on it, but it would be up to the board and we'd need to really consider that.
Okay, thank you.
Because you will be getting, like I said, you'll be getting all of this in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it just makes it hard for us to contribute when we can't really see or hear a lot of it.
Well, we've never done this presentation before, so I think that we're improving. We've always done it at the FALC, and we had complaints that people weren't able to see it. I guess we need to make it larger for next year.
We can examine all of that for next year.
Larger, okay. Larger fonts, okay.
Yes, Ms. Sandy.
Sandy Lehman, Willow Range Subdivision.
Yes.
Just a suggestion, I think we're all pretty in tune with technology these days. Would it be possible to email a proposed budget so we could review it before the meeting and then be prepared with our questions?
That's kind of what the budget meeting is about, because they go through every line item and it's open to everybody to do that. Everybody needs to understand with a budget, these are just placeholders in a budget. This committee is only going to, the board is only going to vote on a budget for placeholder. But that doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to go forward with a project, or a project doesn't get bumped. There is an input from the community about something before something was to go on. That's why when you get your budgets, you guys can go through and see what exactly, if you can't see it here today, is being proposed, and be a part of those conversations as they occur.
Okay, so Marcy, just so I understand. So at some point in time, we are going to receive a written copy of this information.
Absolutely, you do. Every single year when you get your annual assessment bill, you get a copy of the budget that's been voted on, you get the letter, you get the it comes in that little packet, and you get it generally around mid-November. Okay. All of that information is already contained in there.
Great, that's very helpful. At what point would we have an opportunity as a group to gather and speak to the board to address any issues we might have? Or questions?
When things come up, that's why when we publish our meeting agendas, you will see when a topic is going to be on the agenda, either for landscape and facilities, architectural, any of those. Always check your agendas, because that's telling you what we are looking at and what we're potentially voting on. And then the board itself, what they're going to be. Ways and Means, what they do, they publish theirs, and if these are topics, those will be on there. So it's just checking the information that's getting provided to you to be able to see what is going to be discussed at that time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin Nielsen, I don't really understand the reluctance to make this available to us. You don't have to print 50 pages out, but if it could be available online or emailed, then we know what we're talking about, other than being caught by surprise, not being able to see them. It's just inconvenient for us. We could offer better input had we an opportunity to be prepared. I get that you haven't done it before.
Didn't you sit through the budget committee, Mr. Nielsen?
I did.
And did you feel that you had the opportunity to
I
ask
did.
questions?
Myself, one other civilian were there. We were in that small building.
No, we were, yeah.
Well, but I mean, there might have been 30 chairs available. We filled about 2 of them, and then 3 of them were filled by board members. What I'm saying is, you got a lot of people here, comparatively. Why can't we have that? I don't get it. I just don't understand why we can't have it.
Okay, thank you for your input.
Anything else?
Bruce, I got a question.
For you. Do you have any objections to having the people that are sitting out here having this budget in advance via an email?
I think we need to look into the best way to provide it to them.
Yeah, thanks, Karen.
I struggle with this a little bit in that we discussed this at length in committee level meetings, and for me, that's the best place to have a good conversation about these numbers, because we're just trying to generalize this in this meeting. And if we want to get into the weeds, it should be at committee level, not here at this point. And that's where I struggle giving this out to the general population without the board, or the board approving it first.
Okay, so I went to the budget meetings, and I did not have access to a lot of these items that are on here, and they just came up one by one. And so
again, these were all almost, the big ticket items were all discussed at committee level, which were on the agendas of all these
So maybe
committees.
the proposed budget needs to be handed out at the budget committee meetings and on an overhead, and have the discussions there.
Or maybe put it on our website.
No, not.
We don't.
Something so that
We don't have a
people can-
secure website, that's open to the
public.
public.
Yeah, that'd be open.
We
I
don't
mean,
do that, we'd have to.
to the whole world.
We'd
public.
have to make them portable.
What's wrong?
None of the business.
Well, the board should discuss this at a board meeting on how to change the procedure versus right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we,
as a board member secretary, I request that we put this on for next week's agenda.
Okay.
Yes,
My name
ma'am.
is Marcia Ulbrich, I'm from Tamarind Place. Just have a quick question. You mentioned your meeting, the committee meetings. Is this information then printed out or out for those people that attend the budget meeting, the committee meetings?
That's what we were just
Okay,
saying.
so
That
that's what
was
you're looking at,
just the
trying to
conversation
figure
we
out?
were just having, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We good?
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if can be a recommendation. Is there a way, all the asterisk items that are gonna carry over to next year, is there a way to put them in their own column so that, like, next year we can see what is carried over, just for simplicity of viewing what we have?
Well, they're put in categories right now per the reserve study. I could highlight them like in blue or red to make it more advantageous for you.
Yeah, just an easy way to total it up so we know next year what extra we have, I guess, is what I'm saying. 'Cause they're scattered about.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, next page.
Four? Bruce, are we on 4 or 3?
We are on page 4.
Thank you.
So Bruce, it looks like even if we were to do every project that we have listed here in 26 and with our income, we are still going to be 83.6% fully funded.
That's correct. That includes this year's projects and next year's projects.
Yep. And that only is discussing the 5% increase to the preservation fee that does not include any potential additional income if we do get it passed to raise that preservation fee.
That's correct. We felt that we need to budget according to our reality today, and if we have a windfall next year, that'll be a positive thing.
The increase would be $845 per preservation fee, but it wouldn't be the full year, because if it passed at the annual meeting in March, I believe the LRP recommended to begin on April 1st for home sales.
Yep, all closings occurring April 1st. After.
But it would get a majority of the year.
Okay, as you can see, the total reserve fund project for 2026 is $1,577,650. We anticipate our fully funded balance for 2026 to be at $4,546,058.
Bruce, I got a question. Item 168, the hearing loop.
Hearing loop, yes.
Can we ask, I want to ask, well, how did that get on to the budget, and can we explain what it is?
Hearing loop is a request from a resident, and in order to reach ADA standards, has requested a hearing device present at our board meeting so he can hear what is being said. This is a placeholder number to research what would be the best avenue to take care of this person.
Thank you very much. It's apparent that a lot of people here, they're having issues with hearing us or hearing people that have questions and stuff like that. So this is something that we need, and I hope that we can possibly extend it to the entire room versus just one individual. So thanks.
Okay, thank you.
I have another question for clarity. The total reserve fund projects for 2026, the 1,500,000 and change?
Correct.
So all the asterisked ones do not go into that number, correct? Because they carry.
That includes those.
Okay, but they carry over from 25.
Correct.
Correct.
I see the wheels turning.
It's just my head.
Well, we're all.
I'm doing it.
Me too. Okay.
Thanks for explaining.
Okay, any other questions?
Lynette?
Okay, so we got the 175 for the perimeter fence around pickleball. Now, my understanding is that's a placeholder,
Correct.
and the actual amount might be less or even more. What has to happen before, when you've got a placeholder like that, what has to happen before the funds actually get released? It has to be approved by the board, you guys, right?
We all agreed that this would go before the board before we made any decision on this, yes.
Okay, so I thought we also agreed there would be a town hall,
That is correct.
On that issue, yep.
so we still have to do that. Is there anything else that needs to happen?
We're still working on a few bids.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's still in the
drawings.
Landscape and Facilities Committee. It's been presented to L&F, and then they sent the staff back to get additional bids and make some additions and corrections. So it's still at the committee level.
Okay, so people can still provide input?
Absolutely. Every meeting.
Okay, at the committees and at the board meeting?
Absolutely.
As long as, if it's an agendized item. We will not have a perimeter fence on the board until everything, all the boxes have been checked.
Again, this is a great opportunity to communicate to me at the committee level which we can have a much more in-depth conversation about it. Yes, sir?
Yeah, I have a question about the change in our fortunes with the reserve fund. We've gone from about 60 to a little over 80%.
That's correct.
Well,
No, we were at
that's what we're
70.
hoping.
We are at 70.
70 to 80, 82.
That's correct.
So that's what,
10%.
500,000 bucks? Where did that come from? It didn't look like the revenue increased that much. I did notice that there was a line item on one of the earlier pages for a reserve study update. Was that reserve study, did we extend the lives of some things, or how did we get that roughly 500 grand?
Well,
Anybody want to chime in?
as you can see, our expenditures for 2025, as Joe's been talking about, did not happen, so we had monies left there. Then we had the transfer of 175,000. We also had the unexpected ERC refund of 65,000. And our home sales are trending right where they were budgeted for. Our interest, as we all know, has been up because we've had that money invested. So it's a combination of revenue streams that have increased that.
Okay, did you hear that, Kevin?
Yes, so no expenses increase, it's just all revenue.
Correct.
Well, we pushed over, we pushed some expenses to 26.
Right. Yeah.
And we've had some in 25, so it's
It's a budget, it's a tool.
Yeah, I think it's important for all of us to remember, these are just budget numbers, and things will slide up and down. Is how I've seen it. Anything else?
Any other questions? Any questions of the board members? Okay, having gone through the preservation reserve replacement budget now, we have a motion on the table by Steve, second by Max to accept it. I'm going to call for the vote of the board. All those in favor of the budget, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Seeing none, this passes. Okay. Karen, do you want to talk to the updated reserve study executive summary? Do we need conversation on that?
No, that's just to show everybody the tool of a reserve study. We've had a lot of questions on the reserve study, so we always put it in the committee and the board binders that talk about how to use this tool. If Jody, you could go to the executive summary page that has the bar on it. It shows 1 of 12 going. That's what right there, it shows that we are 70.4% fully funded. It talks about the reserve strength. And the most important line item is risk of special assessment. 70% and higher keeps the association fiscally responsible and at a very low risk of a special assessment for our reserve fund to keep the infrastructure and the facilities up to par. This does not, the one thing that people need to understand with the reserve study, it does not include any special projects. This ballroom, the full remodel was not in that project. The swimming pool's not in that project. Those are things that the board looks at each time and decides if there's the funds available for those projects.
Right. Okay.
Is this package available to our public?
Sure.
Where do they find it?
They make an appointment at the office and come in and take a look at it.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else on the budget? Any other questions?
I have a comment. That's
We got ours.
Could you put the very first page up of the summary of all the expenses, the very first page summary, can you put that up on the board?
For the operating account?
Yeah, with the quote at the beginning where it said, hey, we're gonna have 5% from utilities.
Yep. Okay.
So Jody, that will be the horizontal spreadsheet that came right after budget highlights, I believe. Keep going, keep going. So 2,000, that one?
Is that the one you're
Is that the
asking
one
for?
you're asking about?
No, it had a description of each expense item. That's the one right there.
Oh, the budget highlights? Okay.
Jennifer Stout, Pinehurst Place, and I've had the privilege of attending a majority of the meetings this year, the Ways and Means and all that, and I need to say, first of all, thank you, Bruce. Bruce, before he became treasurer this year, he was a member of the board, and he brought in the January meeting that this is what our expenses are, this is what our budget, you know. So he had an oversight of what we were going to be expecting this year. And I appreciate that because it did set the tone of what we were going to need. He didn't find money. There was money there that we just weren't utilizing and putting in investments, and he found those. And I think when you see how much money has been brought in, I think Bruce is, along with others, but Bruce is the one that is the attaboy and should get the thanks for that. And I think he rightly deserved the position as vice president and treasurer this year. Again,
That's really kind of you, thank you.
and again, most people say, in just yesterday's meeting, someone said, you know, if y'all don't like it, don't talk about it at the pool, you know, come to these meetings. Well, I am coming to these meetings. And if that was meant towards me or what I talk about, I have the right to say whatever I want, but I think I have the hearing and the knowledge. And again, when Dennis is talking, I've worked in the hospitals where PTO, earned time off. That is done. We had Jan leave here a few years ago. We had other people that have left. Those people had that ETO, PTO, whatever you want to call it, that they had to get paid out. So I understand that. And when we look at this, yes, we can't tell. I had 150 employees under me. I didn't know if 30 of them were going to be leaving me, but they deserved their time off. When FMLA started, we had to give them that time off. When COVID hit, we had to give everybody 80 hours. Whether it was not used from their PTO or their earned time off. That was government given. So all of these things come into effect, and I appreciate, and I don't know that everyone understands that hasn't been in that management position. But I do appreciate what you all do. I hope that when I do come to these meetings, that you take it as constructive criticism, because I'm just trying to make the best for our community, and we have changed. Over 30 years, we are not that second home anymore. We're primary homes. So we have to keep up. Some of us have lived here, or some residents, 20, 30 years. So we need to change with the times, and I see that's what some of us have brought to this table, and thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
My name's John Wong, and I'm with Country Club Estates. When you were talking about projects that were in the reserve study and some weren't, how does a project get, like the pickleball fence issue, get put on the reserve study when something like this did not?
So, go ahead, Marcy.
So the reserve study is done on existing things that the association has to talk about replacement of it. So until something is done, it's not in the reserve study. So when the ballroom was in the reserve study before, it was in its state of which it was. But then the community then chose to remodel it. After it's remodeled and the new reserve study is done, what has been done goes into that new reserve study as to what the cost would be to replace that.
But there's never been a fence around the whole pickleball place.
And if that happens, then that will be included in an additional reserve study the next time it gets done.
But but it wasn't there when it was included already in this reserve study.
Well, neither were the pickleball courts originally when reserve
Okay.
studies were done too,
Kinda
because those were tennis courts and converted to pickleball. That's what happens is as things change, the reserve study gets updated and that information goes into the reserve study as to what it would cost to replace things if something was to happen to it.
So who puts it to the reserve study people that that should have been in the reserve study?
Okay, you mean into the, he's saying, you leave the word study out of there.
Okay.
Into the reserve fund project, is that what you're referring to?
So let's go back a little bit. I think the Long Range Planning Committee, which you're going to be getting a survey.
Okay.
There was a survey in 2015 and they gave the committees and the board the 5 top items that the community residents would like to see that were not included in the reserve study. So the LRP is doing that again. They're recommending another homeowner survey to see what you want as residents for the next 5 to 10 years for long-range planning, so it can be added to the budgets and saved for and planned for. Is that, you were kind of asking how it got there?
Yeah, who put it on the reserve study? Who initiated it? Was
It's
it
not
like
in
with the
the
hearing
reserve
thing, was
study.
it just one person?
It's
that
not in
said-
the reserve study, it's in the reserve budget.
Budget?
Yes. It comes from the committee levels.
Okay.
Yes.
So someone comes before the committee, like the hearing thing, and says, we could do that, you know, can you do this?
They write a letter and ask
They
for it
write
to
a
be
letter.
discussed,
I was
yes.
just wondering the process of
Yep.
how we can, you know, get into that.
It all is at committee level.
Committee
It
level.
all starts there.
Okay.
And so what would be discussed in a committee is on the agenda. That's was the question asked earlier. So when you get your e-blast and it shows that what the agenda, click on the agendas. What's going to be talked about at that meeting has to be on that agenda. And so that way it'll give you the opportunity, if it's a topic that you are very interested in, you can go to the meeting and have your input in at that meeting on that particular topic.
If you want to see it on the agenda, then send a letter
That's what I.
There you go.
to Karen or to
And the
our
chair of the
president.
committee.
And the chair of the committee.
Okay.
Yep.
And then that can be added.
All right.
Just send an email.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions about budget or anything? Okay. Having looked at the agenda going all the way through, I see that we have no more additional business and I am going to call the meeting adjourned.
Good, thank you.